Brave Merida. In far-away green Scotland, where mountains reach the clouds and forests smell of heather, there lived a kind King Fergus with his family. His wife, the wise Queen Elinor, was beautiful and graceful, and their daughter, Princess Merida, was completely different. Merida had fiery red, curly hair that always flew wildly in the wind, swift legs, and the sharpest eyes in the entire kingdom. More than anything in the world, she loved riding her horse Angus and shooting her bow, and in that she had no equal. "Merida," her mother would call every morning. A princess must sit straight, speak softly, and learn proper manners. But every time, Merida would break free, out into the green hills, where the wind was her friend and her arrows whistled straight to their target. One day, Queen Elinor called her daughter for a serious talk.
"My dear," she said gently but firmly, "the time has come. 3 brave lords will bring their sons. One of them will become your husband."
"But Mom, I don't want to get married," Merida cried. "I want to choose my own fate." "Those are the traditions," the Queen replied. "A princess must fulfill her duty." Merida ran away, straight into the forest, where she could cry and think alone. In the darkness of the woods, she suddenly saw small blue lights dancing between the trees, as if inviting her to follow. She did, and soon found herself in front of a small cottage where an old witch lived. The cottage was covered in carved bears, big and small, funny, and a little frightening. "What do you want, girl?" the witch croaked, not looking up from her work. "I want to change my fate," Merida said firmly. "My mother wants me to marry, but I don't. Help me change her mind." The witch was silent for a long time, then took a small, fragrant cake from the shelf. "Here," she said, "this will change everything. But remember, magic is serious. What is torn must be mended before dawn, or it will be too late." Merida grabbed the cake and ran home. That evening, she gave the enchanted cake to her mother. The Queen ate it and soon felt strange. "Something's happening to me," she whispered. And suddenly, boom! Instead of the beautiful Queen, a large brown bear stood before a terrified Merida, with her mother's kind eyes. "Mom!" Merida screamed. The bear blinked, sad and confused. Merida panicked. Her father, King Fergus, hated bears. He had once lost his leg fighting one. If he saw a bear in the castle, he would attack immediately. "Quiet, Mom, quiet," Merida whispered as she led the bear through a secret passage out of the castle. "We need to find the witch. She'll undo the spell." They made their way back through the forest, but the witch was gone. Only a note remained on the table. "Mend what is torn, then the dawn will bloom." "What does that mean?" Merida whispered. Her mother, now a bear, couldn't speak, but she looked at her daughter gently, as if she understood more than it seemed. That night, they stayed in the forest. Merida built a fire, and for the first time in a long while, they simply sat together, mother and daughter. Merida talked about her dreams, and the bear listened, nodding. "Mom," Merida said quietly, "I've never told you all this before. I thought you wouldn't understand." The bear touched her hand softly, like only a mother can. And then Merida realized something. She had always thought her mother didn't understand her, but she had never tried to understand her mother either. Suddenly, she remembered the witch's words. "Mend what is torn." She remembered. The day she had argued with her mother, she had ripped an old tapestry in anger, a large one, showing the whole royal family together.
Mom, I know what to do. We have to fix the tapestry. That's what it means, she cried.
But returning to the castle was dangerous. Her father and his warriors were already hunting the terrible bear in the forest. "We have to act fast," Merida said. "There's still time before dawn."
They slipped back into the castle unnoticed. Merida found the torn tapestry and began to sew. Her fingers trembled, but she didn't stop. The bear sat beside her, gently nudging her paw in encouragement.
Suddenly, King Fergus burst into the hall and saw the bear. "Bear!" he roared, grabbing his sword.
"Dad, stop!" Merida shouted, stepping between them. "It's Mom. Don't hurt her."
The king froze. He looked from the bear to his daughter, and something like fear and confusion flickered in his eyes. The sky began to brighten. Dawn was coming. With tears in her eyes, Merida stitched the final piece of the tapestry.
"Mom," she whispered, holding it. "I'm sorry. I only thought about myself. But you're the best mom in the world. I love you."
She hugged the bear tightly and wrapped them both in the tapestry. Suddenly, there was a soft flash of light. The bear trembled and turned back into Queen Elinor, alive, whole, in her green dress. "Merida," she whispered, embracing her daughter. They cried and laughed at the same time, and King Fergus rushed over, wrapping them both in his big, bear-like arms. When the sun rose over the mountains of Scotland, the lords and their sons gathered at the castle. But this time, everything was different.
Queen Elinor stepped forward and said,
"Our princess is still young. She will choose her own fate when she is ready." Merida stood beside her, holding her mother's hand for the first time, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. From that day on, mother and daughter truly began to talk. Elinor learned to listen to Merida's dreams, and Merida learned to understand her mother's wisdom. And even though they sometimes disagreed, they always remembered the most important thing. Love means trying to understand one another, even when it isn't easy.